Welcome, and thank you for participating in the Process to Refine the Home Performance with Energy Star program. I am Caroline Hazard with SRA International. As contractor to DOE's Home Performance with Energy Star program, I lead our team's efforts with regard to program implementation and account management. I will be presenting the third webinar in the series describing DOE's proposed changes to the Home Performance with Energy Star program. The slides in this webinar, as well as those from other sections, were taken from the public presentation that is currently available for public comment online at Building America's PNNL comment website. In the first webinar, Eli Jacobson described the status of the existing program, its current challenges, and a brief overview of DOE's proposed solutions to those challenges. In the second webinar, Courtney Moriarta described the proposed definition of a home performance improvement and the elements that make up the various pathways a homeowner and contractor can take to participate in the proposed Home Performance with Energy Star version 2. In this webinar, the third of the series, I will describe the different approaches DOE is proposing to more strongly engage both sponsors and contractors. I will go over the introduction of the concept of the charter contractor, who will be able to offer homeowner services under the auspices of Home Performance with Energy Star, even if they are not located in a territory covered by a Home Performance with Energy Star sponsor. The final recorded webinar will offer additional clarity to stakeholders by providing answers to questions that have been raised since DOE's presentation at ACI. In early May, DOE plans to hold a live Q&A webinar with the Home Performance with Energy Star team. In that session, we will be available to answer your questions that may not have been adequately addressed in these recorded webinars. The Home Performance with Energy Star program model has not changed significantly since its original launch in 2001. The proposed redesign of the program is intended to address three fundamental issues. These are to provide clear expectations to consumers and contractors considering participation in the program, to provide a more consistent and robust set of standards that can be applied nationally across a wider range of regional program and funding paradigms, and to make the program more accessible to a broader range of participants. The current role of sponsors is centered on providing a local platform for home performance services. In this capacity, utilities, states, and local governments, nonprofits, and financial institutions, and other emerging actors are providing elements such as marketing, incentives, and financing for home performance services and equipment, training and quality assurance for a local workforce, administration and tracking of results, and ultimately, invaluable insights into the lessons and best practices for the development of local markets for home performance services. The current role of contractors is to provide the home performance services, meaning the assessment, installation, and quality control for home performance services in the customer's home. Participating contractors are getting the training, the licenses, and the certifications. They are in the house doing the work, sitting down with the homeowner to outline the home performance scopes of work that will improve their homes. DOE's proposed changes to the program are intended to create new opportunities for a wider range of participants, including program sponsors, contractors, and consumers. In evolving the Home Performance with Energy Star program, DOE intends to provide both consistency and flexibility for sponsors. DOE is seeking greater consistency in the administration of the program to help strengthen the public's understanding of what is Home Performance with Energy Star, to strengthen the value and recognition of the Home Performance with Energy Star brand, and to strengthen the opportunity for home performance services along the full chain of homeowner decision-making related to owning a home. At the same time, DOE is seeking to maintain and allow for flexibility in local implementation of home performance with Energy Star. The proposed paths described in the previous recorded webinars are designed to allow for flexibility in how current and future sponsors may approach implementation of locally administered programs. To make the program more accessible to a broader range of participants, DOE is interested in extending the reach of the program by working with non-traditional sponsors such as financial institutions, lenders, retailers, manufacturers, and others. With these participants, DOE hopes to scale the program, offering a greater number of quality sponsors and contractors in an effort to transform the home performance marketplace. Some of the key changes for program sponsors include the following. They will need to review their current program to determine how to integrate their program requirements with the base level home performance with Energy Star model to ensure that their minimum program standards align with those described in version 2. This was presented in the second recorded webinar hosted by Courtney Moriarta. While sponsors can market and incentivize appropriate measures in their individual programs, they must be able to perform quality assurance inspections on all measures installed as part of a home performance improvement. Even if their program only focuses on one of the pathways within the home performance with Energy Star, the sponsor will need to conduct the QA for all measures installed. Sponsors will be required to use the Home Performance with Energy Star name and logos in materials, particularly those geared toward homeowner. Sponsors will be required to comply with data reporting requirements, such as reporting to DOE in a manner consistent with HP XML. Additionally, each year, sponsors will be required to prepare an annual implementation plan update with a summary of the major accomplishments of their program and the plans for the upcoming year. With the proposed version 2, sponsors will be able to provide a Home Performance with Energy Star completion certificate to each homeowner who improves their house through the program. The certificate will include a post-improvement asset rating as well as information about measures installed and estimated energy savings. Additionally, DOE is proposing that sponsors will also be able to offer recognition for houses that meet the recognition level requirements. Once the final version 2 program rules are announced, which we anticipate to be summer 2013, existing program sponsors will be allowed a transition period of no less than 6 months. New program sponsors who enroll during the transition period will be expected to follow these new version 2 rules upon enrollment. The proposed version 2 paths are designed to allow for flexibility in how a contractor or customer may approach a project. With the base level requirements, there will be additional entry points for contractor participants. By aligning independent paths with common trades for HVAC and envelope services, it is possible for a qualified contractor to bring Home Performance with Energy Star to their customers even if they do not provide whole house services. This raises the bar with respect to quality, health, and safety, a direct benefit to homeowners. Traditional home performance contractors can continue to offer their whole house services as usual, assuming that one or more of the systems in the house is comprehensively improved according to the pathways that have been outlined. With the proposed changes to the program, DOE envisions working with a limited number of charter contractors to expand the reach of the home performance services. Who are charter contractors? They are possibly home performance contractors, HVAC contractors, insulation contractors, retailers, or others. Charter contractors will be representative of companies who are prepared to do the work. DOE will pilot sponsorless endeavors in areas where select businesses, meaning those with substantial business capabilities, who are able to handle the requirements of administering version 2 requirements. Eligible businesses must have the following capabilities to participate in a pilot for charter contractors. They must be of adequate company size and stability with adequate administrative capacity to participate. They must meet a minimum number of home performance projects and a minimum number of years performing such work. They must submit an implementation plan, including their plans for QA, QC. They must have the required company accreditations and/or workforce certifications. They must hire an independent QA inspector and perform field inspections according to the base level definition. And they must abide by data collection and reporting requirements of both contractors and sponsors. Charter contractors will not be permitted to operate independently within sponsored regions. If a charter contractor's business offering is provided in a market where there is a local sponsor, the charter contractor must adhere to the sponsor's program offering. Charter contractors will be subject to a higher sampling rate for QA inspections in the sponsor-less territories. Please refer to the second webinar for detail on the proposed sampling rates. What do DOE's proposed changes mean for participating contractors? Participating contractors conducting assessments, installation, and test-out functions must meet the sponsor's requirements for whole house building science-based certifications. They must be able to conduct a standard assessment of the home's energy and energy-related features, including a basic level of diagnostic testing. For current participating contractors, they must abide by the new base level definition, and they must be able to follow the path chosen by their sponsor, be it a pathway involving the HVAC system, envelope system, or the whole house. Regardless of which path a sponsor adopts, participating contractors must meet the minimum health and safety requirements based on building science and established industry standards. Participating contractors are subject to a minimum site inspection sampling rate of 5% of all completed projects unless their sponsor has stronger requirements. Contractors who are newly enrolled in the program will be subject to higher sampling rates for QA inspections. Again, please refer to the second webinar for detail on the proposed sampling rates. Participating contractors via their host sponsor will have access to the Home Performance with Energy Star brand and the Home Performance with Energy Star completion certificate. As discussed earlier and in the first two webinars, DOE's proposed changes to the Home Performance with Energy Star program are intended to strike a balance of national and regional consistency as well as sponsor contractor flexibility for brand use, work and workforce, the whole house assessment, quality assurance, and data and reporting requirements. Sponsors and contractors will be required to use the Home Performance with Energy Star brand, but they will have the flexibility to deploy it as needed for local markets. The paths are designed to allow for flexibility in how a contractor or customer may approach a Home Performance with Energy Star project. Program sponsors will need to overlay the base level definition to ensure that their minimum standards align with those described in version 2. From there, sponsors have the option of overlaying performance metrics at their own discretion. With the proposed changes, sponsors and contractors must meet the minimum quality assurance sampling protocols for desk reviews and field inspections, but they can choose to exceed these minimums if need be. Sponsors and contractors can choose the project management and energy modeling software suitable for their local market and program. But DOE is supporting the industry's interest in developing a common schema for data tracking, and therefore will require that Home Performance with Energy Star reporting be consistent with HP XML. In the next webinar, DOE will offer additional clarity to stakeholders by providing answers to questions that have been raised since DOE's presentation at ACI. In early May, DOE plans to hold a live webinar with the Home Performance with Energy Star team. In that session, we will be available to answer your questions that may not have been adequately addressed in these recorded webinars. On behalf of DOE, I'd like to thank you for helping to develop this strategy and also to let you know that all team members listed on this page are available for your comments and questions. If you are interested in taking part in the public comment process, we would like to ask you to visit buildingamerica.pnl.gov. There you can download the entire presentation and provide comments via Building America's tool operated by PNL. The comment tool includes an FAQ to answer questions about the proposed program design, and it includes instructions regarding special formatting options for comments and the ability to search for specific sections. Comments will be accepted through May 29th. Thank you for your participation, and we look forward to hearing from you.